Well, I'm going to begin just by asking what inspired this screenplay. Where did the idea for What We Did on Our Holiday come from?
I suppose it came together quite
we got to remember now.
slowly. I don't know. I think we wanted to do something that used some of the same techniques with improvising with children that we'd used in Outnumbered, but to tell a big story. Not like a sitcom where you encounter problems, but it comes back to how it started. And I don't know. We had the idea of the family going up to Scotland, and sort of we had the idea. I think we wanted to do something about a couple who were getting divorced. 'Cause it's kind of like a big modern family problem. The family who aren't going to get back together, but who at least learn to deal with it in a sensible way in front of the children. So I think so many children are going through that. So it sounds like it's a rather serious documentary when we describe it like that.
But with laughs.
But with laughs.
Yeah, we felt there hadn't been a comedy that kind of, if you like, put the case for children who are going through a divorce. There've been lots of serious movies, lots of serious plays, but we thought actually it would be great to do a comedy which sort of, is very dramatic in places and extraordinary in a couple, but where fundamentally those kids are grappling with that experience that millions of kids go through every year.
And then I suppose added elements like Vikings and granddads and things that sort of turned it a bit more into a film, but we can't quite remember the order it happened in.
I mean, the three kids are just absolutely fantastic. How were they with sort of coming to terms with the quite adult themes in this movie? How did you go about sort of explaining the sort of narrative to them?
Well, we chatted to them. I mean, to be honest, we didn't burden the kids with the whole story. We tend to just bring them on set, explain the scene to them. But we did give them the general idea, and because we were shooting out of order, just because logistically we had to, we did explain to them the story of what the kids go through, and so they were pretty comfortable with it. By the time they got to film it,
But I suppose also, the younger children, I think they're not burdened by things like that. You tell them that, and to be honest, they probably forget it.
Yeah.
And because we only tell them the scene just before we film. I mean, so that we get those naturalistic performances, so that it's. I don't think it's a big thing for them.
No.
In a way, the filming was, the least important thing in their day sometimes. Yeah. It was the experience of going on holiday with each other and things like that. So I don't think we've caused any crises.
And of course, what's very important for your viewers is that, of course, we don't know who dies or how.
Yeah.
So
Or even the fact someone dies.
Or even maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't.
Maybe they don't.
Because there is that kind of age-old notion that working with kids can be quite tough, but it's something you two you've made to look so easy. How did you provoke such natural performances out of kids? Because with them in this and in Outnumbered, it's just quite miraculous to watch, really.
Well, we've done it a lot now.
So we kind of just take away all the things that annoy children about.
Yes.
Filming.
Well, and adults.
Well, yeah. So it makes it quite a pleasurable experience for us. So it's not hard. But there aren't big men in puffer jackets shouting action, and there's not anybody putting makeup on them in between shots.
No. We don't have marks and.
Yeah, no, we light an area rather than saying you have to stand there and look in that direction. Hopefully we just make the experience enjoyable, and because they enjoy it, it works.
I mean, for the kids, it's just a game of pretend. That's what we, because if a kid gets cheesed off, we've got a problem. So we make it as much fun as we can.
And is there sort of being so blissfully sort of naive to the industry in an endearing way, does that bring out the best in everyone on set, do you think? Because it kind of, the fact that it is just this make-believe kind of brings up that age-old notion of acting and why we all kind of love it at its core, I suppose.
I think that's right. I think because the kids make it a very pure game of pretend, actually it's quite liberating for the actors as well, because what they're doing is very pure acting. And the other thing is it creates a very informal atmosphere. And because you don't know what's going to come out of the kids' mouths sometimes, it means that you don't get into a rut. And also there's less pressure because you don't know exactly what you're going to get. You kind of go into takes with quite a relaxed, open mind,
I think that's really important that you don't quite know what's going to happen, which I think actors actually really like, because it is living in the moment. And of course there are scenes without the children, but that atmosphere kind of spreads across into those, I think.
I mean, you must have been absolutely thrilled with this cast. I mean, in particular, just for me, to have Billy Connolly as the Scottish grandfather, if I had a Scottish grandfather, I'd like it to be Billy Connolly.
Yes.
You must have been it must have made your jobs that much easier to be working with a cast like this.
Absolutely. I mean, the list for the part of the Scottish grandfather was Billy Connolly, basically.
And you're right, he is like the granddad from heaven, isn't he? Because he's sort of mischievous, but he looks like Father Christmas. Yeah.
And all the cast. No, I mean, you kind of. You think, one day I'd like to work with David, Rosamund, and we did. So it was.
Yeah. Yes, we were very lucky.
Of course, with Outnumbered, we've seen this sort of core family kind of grow on screen, and we've kind of seen the kids sort of grow up sort of in front of us, which is part of one of the perks to what makes it such a brilliant program. I'm just wondering, with what we did on a holiday, is that ever a group of characters you'd ever look to revisiting again in the future? Would you ever sort of catch up with them in a few years' time, perhaps?
It would be difficult. No, we're not saying it's impossible, but it would need a bit of thought, because when people watch the movie, they'll discover that certain developments, certain final developments, make that difficult. But we don't know.
Yeah, you can use this against us when What We Did on Our Holiday 6
Number 9
comes out.
Yeah.
When the children are grandparents themselves.
Rosamund's being checked into a home. Yeah, and then you can bring this interview out and say, you said you weren't sure.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. It's been a real pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you very much.
Cheers.